Hello, I'm Josh Johnson, and I thought I would do a short video just on choosing a lawyer. I think finding a lawyer, choosing who to represent you, is both a really, really important decision and also a really difficult decision. Most people don't have a lot of experience in consulting with lawyers and very often have never been in the criminal defense atmosphere and the criminal justice system in general, and just really don't really know where to start in figuring out who to hire. And I do think that there are some guidelines, some tips that I would have for someone looking to hire an attorney to represent them in a criminal case. The first thing that I would say is to definitely meet a few lawyers, to go ahead and either if it's just by phone or in person, but make sure to call a few different attorneys and just get a feel for the way that some different lawyers talk to you and talk to you about your case. And you should expect that any lawyer that you talk to, who you're interviewing to potentially represent you, will take the requisite time to go over the facts of the case, at least in a kind of abbreviated way, to make sure that they understand exactly what happened. You should be able to have some time to talk and to be heard. You should be able to tell your side of the story. And I think that as lawyers, often we can get in the habit of talking too much, but a good lawyer is going to be a good listener and is going to take some time to listen to what you have to say, what kind of case that you have, and hear and learn a little bit about you. At our office, even if we're handling an intake over the phone, we spend quite a bit of time trying to get to know our client, try to figure out what's important to them, and get all the facts that we need to be able to advise the potential client about their case. And so that'd be the first thing. I would expect that you would have some real time with a lawyer to go over what you need to talk about. So you deserve that, and I expect that as a potential client. The other thing I would recommend is to listen to see whether or not the lawyer you're speaking to has a sense of the jurisdiction that your case is in. Does your lawyer seem to know the lay of the land? Have they had cases in that county before? Have they had cases with those judges before? Have they had cases just similar to that in that jurisdiction? Now, of course, we don't always know. Even experienced lawyers, we don't always know the prosecutor on a file, and we don't always know or have had cases in front of a judge that you may be appearing in front of. But you should be convinced after talking and asking your attorney about the case that they've had cases like this before, that they have a certain fluency in just discussing this case in relation to work they've done. Now, everything that all the cases that we do as attorneys are confidential, so you would not expect for a lawyer to be talking or giving specifics really about other clients' cases, even if they're in the past, but certainly would be able to discuss how they generally approach a case like yours and what would generally be some of the different things they would look for and potential steps that they would recommend. The other thing that I would listen out for are lawyers that draw attention away from their own experience and get involved in bad mouthing other attorneys you may have interviewed, or complaining about experiences they've had necessarily with other attorneys, etc. Generally speaking, whether a client of mine has interviewed with a couple of other lawyers or not, if they're good lawyers, I'll mention it, I think so, that they've interviewed with a good selection of folks to get advice from, and really focus though on what I can do and what I know about their file and the options that they may have. And so I would also say that a lawyer that you speak to about your case should be telling you both good and bad news. They should be giving you information that is hopefully filled with options and steps that they think that should be performed in order to give you the very best representation, and hopefully some good news about things that can be done to achieve your goals. And they should also be speaking to you in a straightforward way about some of the obstacles that may be coming up in your case, things that a person may or may not want to hear or may be hard to hear. That's an important part of being a lawyer, and you should expect that a good lawyer giving you real advice will tell you the good and bad of it, what things can potentially happen on the great side, and also some things that might happen if things don't go so well, and explain the chances and potential for that. Hopefully you leave always feeling like there are more good options than bad, and a real chance to make everything come out the way that you want. But you should expect to hear straightforward and real advice from your attorney. So if you're not getting that, if it sounds too good to be true, well, then I would use your intuition and potentially compare that to other attorneys you end up speaking with. So those are just some tips that I would expect to be important in evaluating a potential lawyer to represent you. Thanks.